Okay, 703, we are back. This tape won't be quite so long, but we'll just do it section by section. We left off at number 13, and for number 13, you just needed to answer E. There's a problem with the language, so E was the correct answer. We'll go back over the language of how to calculate the 94.0896 on a future tape. So let's move right along to question number 14. And number 14 is that tried and true, what we need to know about finding the percent of change. Remember that it's always the old price minus the new price divided by the old price times 100 to give it the percent change. So in this case, Jeanette purchased a concert ticket on a website. The original price, that's the old price of the ticket, was $75. So she paid $75, or it would have been $75, but she used a coupon of 20% discount. Therefore, she paid 80%. So 100 minus 20 is 80, and to save yourself a step, you can just take 75 and multiply it by 0.8 to figure out how much she charged. So take your calculator, and you'll find that 75 times 0.8, enter. She paid $60. Then it says, the website then applied a 10% service fee. So on top of the 60%, you have to pay this, or so the $60 plus 10%. So 60 times 1.1. The 1 just means you're paying the $60 plus the 10%. So once again on your calculator, you'll do 60 times 1.1, enter. So that means she actually paid $66. That was after the discount and the tax. But the final question says, by what percent was her ticket less than the original price? So again, the original price was 75 minus 66 divided by 75. You're going to multiply that result by 100. When you do those calculations, you will find that you get 12%. It's actually 0.12 multiplied by 100, 12%, and the correct answer is C. Take a minute and move on to question number 15. So question number 15 says that a store purchased a DVD for $12. It sold it to a customer. They added 50% markup for the customer. So to find what they sold it for, I will take 12 times 1.5. So the 1 is the $12 plus the 50%, more than what they purchased it for. After that, they add a 7% tax. So I can do this all at once if I want and just say, well, I'm going to add 1.07 as the tax, and that's going to tell me what the total cost, meaning what did the customer pay after the markup of 50% and the tax. So get your calculator out, clear. You have the $12 times the 50% markup times 1.07, enter, and the price they pay is $19.26. So we have to look at our answer choices and hope it's there. Sure enough, answer choice D. Moving on now to question number 16. So we get another problem. We're getting an awful lot of these problems of percent change. This one is pretty straightforward, and it's basically going to say last year 950 people attended a parade, and this year 1,520 people attended. What was the percent increase in attendance? So I'm going to take the old, the new, and divide it by the old. I do those calculations, I multiply by 100, and I get C as my answer choice. It's a 60% increase. Moving on to number 17. A store sold 650 bicycles last year, so 650. This year it sold 572, so it sold less. What is the percent decrease? So once again, it's the old or the original number minus the new number divided by the old number times 100. You're going to put the 650 here. You do those calculations, and you find that it decreased 12% decrease, and the correct answer choice is A. It's a funny looking A. Correct answer choice is A. Moving on to 18. Carl wants to buy a television that cost $500. This one, the wording is a little tricky, so you have to take it really slow and read it word by word. He wants to buy a television that costs $500, so we'll write 500 down, including taxes. To pay for the television, he will use a payment plan. That means he's not going to pay it all at once, but he's going to pay a down payment of $125, and then he'll pay $72.50, and he has to pay it each month for 6 months. So that's times 6. So you're once again going to get your calculator out and take 72.5 times 6, enter. So that is $435. That's this number times 6 plus the original amount that he paid. Add those two things up. You get $560. So instead of paying the original $500, he's going to pay $60 more just to be able to finance it over 6 months' time. So it wants to know what percent increase is that. So once again, it's the original price minus the new price divided by the original price times 100. So we can easily see that that ends up being 60 divided by 500. You can get your calculator out, and you'll find that that is answer choice B, or 12% in order to finance over time. Coming down to the final stretches. We're now on to problem number 19. So problem number 19 looks like this. There's a lot of ink on it. Sorry about that. And it says the original selling price of a share of stock was D dollars. The selling price for a share of the same stock at a later date was represented by the expression. So in this case, I can see I am not going to have to calculate anything, but I have a share of D stock. So I'm going to write this down as the expression is what they give me, 1.15 times 95D. So this is just what they've told me. Something has happened to the price of this stock. And it says which description could explain what happened to the price. So whenever you get these that there's no clear answer, you have to go through them one by one. The price decreased by 5% and then increased by 15%. Well, that doesn't really say what I'm looking for, so I'm going to I'm going to delete that. The price decreased by 95%. No, it didn't decrease by 95%. It's saying it's 95% of that price. So get rid of that. The price decreased by 5%. That makes sense because I have 95% left over. Then increased by 15%. 1.15 would be 15%. So that looks right. Then I'm going to check the next one. Again, it says decreased by 95%. That's incorrect. The correct answer for 19 is C. Stick with me a few more minutes. We're just about there. Thank you for being patient. We are now on to question number 20. And once again, I don't need to do any calculation at all. I just have to figure out what they're asking for. Lance bought some notebooks. The notebooks cost 75 cents a piece. And he bought some pens, and they cost 55 cents a piece. And then he had to pay 6.25 in sales tax over the whole amount. Which one makes sense? You have to go through each one and just determine which one represents the number of pens times 75 cents. Sorry, notebooks times 75 cents. The number of pens plus or times the amount they cost, 55 cents. And then this whole thing, 1.0625 is the tax, and that's the total amount. And the one that represents that is answer choice D. Question number 21. The population of a city is expected to increase 7.5% next year. If P represents the current population, that's how many people are there today, what expression represents the expected population next year? Well, I know I'm taking the current population, P, and I am increasing it by 1.075, which is the growth. The correct answer choice is B. The others don't make any sense. Question number 22. An item with an original price of P dollars is on sale at a 25% discount. Which expression is not, and be very careful with the not equivalent ones. So they all are equal to, they're all correct except one. Then you need to say like, well, something P dollars is being sold at a 25% discount, so it could be P times 75%, and so I know that C is correct. And I know that 1 minus 25 is 75, and again 1 minus 25 is 75. This is correct, and this is correct. The one that is not correct is it's not being sold at 25% of P. It's being sold at 75% of P, and the one which is not correct is D. That's 22. And for that very last page, 23 and 24. So for this particular one on number 23, Mike took a taxi from his home to the airport. The taxi driver charged an initial fee of $6, and then they charged $3 per mile, and the total amount was $24. Now all you need to do is just do a little algebra footwork, and if you solve for M, you'll find that the correct answer was B. It was $6. It was 6 miles to the airport. We did that problem in class. 24, I have a hectagon. I know one side is equal to 1.7 centimeters. I don't know what the other side is, but I know they're all the same. They're all H's. So it says the perimeter is 10.5. I know that that's going to be equal to 4 times H plus the 1.7. Once again, I do a little algebra footwork. Make sure you can do that by subtracting the 1.7 from each side. I end up with 8.8 equals 4H. Divide both sides by 4, 2.2. The correct answer for number 24 is A. And we made it. Question number 25, the very last one. And it says that Katie bought 4 sweaters that each cost the same amount and 1 skirt that cost 20. So it's just the skirt, which is 20, plus 4, and let's just say S for sweater. We can say N for sweater, and S for sweater. 4S for sweater, and she bought with a total cost of $160 before tax was added. what was the cost of each sweater? So 20 plus 4 times the number of sweaters equals 160. Again, a little algebra footwork. I'm going to subtract 20 from both sides. I get 140. 4s equals 140. I divide both sides by the 4. I get n, or s, the number of sweaters. The number is equal to 35. The correct answer is B. And we're all done. I'll set up a separate tape for those annoying short answers.